Well, hey there, guys. It's Leslie from LuvINK&Paper, and we have the October kit, which I just saw an announcement that there are refills available if you have a Paper Pumpkin account. So if you just can't get enough of this kit, get in there and order a refill. So tonight I'm going to close out this postcode, okay, so probably around 9 o'clock. I will close this one out. So if you haven't added whatever you need to an order or whatever, and it's less than $150, use this host code through tonight around maybe 10. But I will have a fresh host code for November on Wednesday. I know it'll be a couple days early, but that's okay. All right, so some things to know about this month's kit. First of all, it's great. It's a great kit. The second thing is it's global. So the cards are not standard A2 that we know of as for 8.5 by 5.5. Okay, if you lay your thing out, you see that you've got 8 1/4 this way. Okay, so you're going to get just on the, it's going to be like 4 1/8. And then this way, you're almost at 6. You're at like 5 7/8. All right, so the card bases are a little bigger, okay, as are the envelopes. So I just want you to know that ahead of time, okay? So if you're planning to cut things down, and we're going to do a little of that tonight, you're going to have to cut a little more off one direction than the other, just so that you're aware of that, okay? So that's that. So the other thing you will want to know is that you have all of these great foil words. Whoops, I'm trying to get them out here, and they're being a little persnickety. They got caught on something else. Okay, so you have all these wonderful words. Not all of them are in English, and that's okay. All right, it is not unheard of to use amour in French for love. Okay, a lot of us know that one. Okay, there is a card that we're going to cut a few of these things apart. This one, because this U kind of looks like an N. We can kind of make it look like an N, or we'll use that N. Okay, so we're going to snip some so that we can get friend. Okay, and it's gonna be great. So you can kind of mix and match the letters, and because they're script, you can kind of make it look like they connect. Some of them work well to have just those little loopy parts, and you can if you watch Rachel Tessman's let me just grab a paper and a pen and write her name down for you guys. I watch her alternate video a lot. And this month, she does not disappoint. Okay, there's my pen. So you'll want to go to Rachel Tessman, and you can search her on YouTube, okay? Or her blog is Stamp Your Art Out, okay? And it's a really pretty little butterfly logo, okay? Anyway, she, in her video, shows you how to get 40, I think, 40 cards instead of the 8 that you're given, okay? So, and you just add, you add 1 package of envelopes, and I don't even know if you have to add cardstock. I think it's just maybe white bases. No, crumb cake. Crumb cake bases. And cherry cobbler ink are the only things that you have to add extra to get to those 40 cards. So if you're interested in getting lots of Christmas cards out of your kit, go check her video out, because I'm not really going to take you through all of her cards, but I will tell you that she has a way to do that, and she does a really cute thing with some of these words that you might not want to use, and she uses them as like little ribbon on the edge of some of the wreaths, so that's kind of cool. But we're going to take some of these and trim them out and make friend, the word friend, on one of our cards. All right, so let's see what else I wanted to share with you. So I wanted to tell you about the global. So this is technically, so we work in the US, we work on something called an A2. That's our standard card size, okay? The 8.5 by 5.5 folded in half, or the 4 1/4 by 11 folded in half, creates what we use in the US as an A2 card, okay? These are A4s because that's the size cardstock that many of our friends around the world use, all right? And so the centimeters work out a little bit better, all right? All right, so then we have one other tip with the wreath, and we'll get to that in a little bit. All right, so we're going to need, so for some of the cards that I gave you parts for, if you got one of my alternate packets, you are going to need to sacrifice one envelope and one card base, okay? So just kind of set those aside. All right, the first one I wanted to show you, you have this piece, and you have the Seaside Spray base, okay? And you're just going to take your, the word joy. Now, I'm doing this in my Stamparatus just because I knew it would be a little bit easier. And you can, but on the blocks, the clear stamps line up easy enough that if you're using a block, you should be able to be just fine. But I will tell you that I sure do love my Stamparatus. Okay, yeah, I probably should have wiped these stamps. Sometimes there's just a little bit of residual, I don't know if it's oil or what it is from the processing of the photopolymer stamps. So sometimes you get those little spaces, or the ink wants to bead up a little bit. So I'm just gonna, so sometimes some people say that you should rub them or something with, you know, you don't want to sand them or anything, but you do maybe want to give them a little rub, or clean them real quick, but I didn't. So thankfully it was in my Stamparatus, so I could just add some more ink and do it again. Now I'm going to do the hinge step stamping technique. Okay, so I'm just going to ink this up. Actually, I probably should have moved it before I inked this because of the fact that it's wanting to pill a little bit. And now I'm just going to move it down and stamp it again. And yep, I'm going to want to, I think next time I'll try moving it first and then inking it. Whatever you decide to do when you're doing this technique, you want to keep doing it that way, okay? Just because you don't want to skip a step and mess it up by mistake. Which is kind of hard to do because, especially if you're stamping or whatever, you're just going to redo it. So anyway, I'm just going to take this Joy and go right down the side. Now the piece of designer series paper that I gave you to use with this card is really pretty. Designer series paper from the, I keep wanting to call it First Frost, and I think it's Feels Like Frost. Anyway, it was the designer series paper that in last month's product-based class. So you may still have some around. You may have a little piece left over. All right. So this is the navy piece, and I think I did it at 2 inches. But if you have a smaller piece left over, don't worry about it. Just use whatever you've got. Okay. So I think I've got about 2 more of these to go. 2 more hinges. So this one and 1 more. So I think we're going to get 5 of this Joy down the side. Okay. Yep, and it's taking 2 to, and if I had rubbed the stamp, it might not, but it is, so it's all good. All right, so be sure you stick around because we're also going to use one of the wreaths, and I have a really good tip for lining up so that you don't end up with a funky wreath or leaves all over the berries that are pre-printed, or, you know. So hang in there. We'll get to that. All right. In fact, I might do that next. So let's do this last one. Last Joy. And I like that it happens to fit an odd number down the side of the card, which is kind of nice because our eyes seem to like those odd numbers. Now you could put a little gem or something to dot the J, or, you know, there's lots of things that you could do with that. Magnet is a, well, it didn't do too bad. All right. So take that out of there. Okay. All right, put that off to the side. So now you have all these Joys. Now you could, like I said, because the stamps are clear and you have a clear block, you could just line it up on your own, okay? So we've got this piece. Mine's just a shade long, but that's okay. And we also have the sending. It's the combinations of words that you can create are really nice. So I could do Joy to the World, or I could do sending. I could just stamp the sending Joy. It's, I think for this time, I'm going to just stamp the sending right on that designer series paper because it's so light that it's going to work just fine. The idea I saw to help me with this had a couple of layered dies or something, but we're going to just do it this way. Sending Joy. Okay. All right. So let's get some adhesive on here. Okay. Now you can have this be a strip like this. If you have some Night of Navy that you want to run a little bit down there, that works too. Okay, I didn't happen to think of that until just this minute, or I would have given you guys that. Oh, but I might have a piece. Hang on. Oh. Okay, I'm going to cheat. Sorry. All right, so I'm going to put that little bit of a border there. And just give that a little bit more adhesive. And there. Kind of like that. And then if for some reason you have a little bit of overhang, just trim it off. That happens sometimes when... There. Actually, kind of want to get a little closer than that. Tiny shave here. Ooh. All right. There. Okay. There. Oops, and my sending is going uphill just a little bit, but that's okay. Sending joy. All right. So there's one. All right, let's set that off to the side. And let me take a peek here. All right. Okay, there's that one that I wanted to do. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is cut our envelope. Now, because these are designed for a little bit bigger card, all right, you have a little bit extra of the printed paper on the inside. So let's get my scoring blade out of the way. And I'm going to just barely nick these sides. Okay. Just kind of zoop, just take the fold off. Okay, you just want to be able to open it up. All right. There, we can go this way. I always sort of wonder how to do that without doing that part. Okay, so you just want to just take those folds right off, okay, so that you have those. Now, sometimes, rather than going here in the printed part or right on the edge of the printed part, sometimes it's easier to cut and line up that score line in your cutting groove here on the white side, okay? Don't throw this away. They're fairly sturdy envelopes if you haven't felt them. And you may need that for stamping some things on. In fact, I think we're going to, so don't throw that away. All right, then I'm going to just do I care about that a little bit? Here, let me take this off first. Okay. And all right, I think I can go this way. There we go. All right, so we've got those. Probably don't need those, but you know, you might want them. I don't know. I'm getting rid of mine. Okay, and then I'm going to, I think I can, let's see. So I want 4 1/4 going this way. So rather than waste, it's not right on the score line, but that's okay. all right, because I can use that for something else, and I can disguise that score line, so I'm not terribly worried about that. All right, so I'm going to just set that aside because we're not going to use that piece. We are going to take this piece that is just over 5.5, so that'll give us about 2 3/4. All right, we're just going to cut that. Now, one is a teeny bit bigger. Okay, if that bothers you, trim this one to 2 3/4. Otherwise, no big deal. All right, so I think that's pretty good, except we might need, we might as well go ahead and trim this while we're working on things, okay? While you have your trimmer out, let's trim this card base on the score line, okay? And then we're going to make sure that this is at 4. Okay, so again, you're gonna just trim off. So usually you get a lot more than that because our bases are wider. So usually you get a full 1/4 inch. You're not going to get that, but that might make a pretty thing for inside of a card. So if you want to keep that, go for it. All right, and then we're going to do this one at 5 1/4. Okay, so that we have a card front. Now this piece I probably will save because that would make a nice inside for something. All right. Okay. So now I think we're good. I might have to cut this crumb cake piece, the back side, but not yet. All right, so in your packet you have you have 2 crumb cake bases. I'm not 100% sure that it matters which one you choose right now, but this is the one, the 5.5 by 8.5 is the one that was designed to go with this card. And we're going to end up with a landscape card. We're going to turn it the other way. So we're going to take this, right, like that. And then we're going to turn it so the fold is on the top, right? Then one of your pieces from the envelope is going to go on here, all right? And then we're going to grab one of our wreaths. All right, so let's find those. All right, here's our die cuts. These flowers are gorgeous, aren't they? All right, so here's your wreath, and you'll notice that I think that's probably soft seafoam or something in there. All right, so this notch, see how it kind of goes in? There's one single berry with a notch next to it. You're going to want that pointing left, all right? And then, let me just see what I've got that I can... It's dark, but I don't mind stamping on. Shannon took one of my silicone mats into the living room this weekend, and I didn't remember to bring it back here. Okay, so this is going to show it a lot better. So you have so you have this single berry, and you have this notch, okay? Now, on your, it's a little hard to see on this. Let me grab the actual stamp set. Okay, so on here, there's a place where there are 2 leaf groupings right together, okay, on the outside. All right, so here's 2, but one's on the inside. This is on the outside, and it's by itself. Inside, and so one by itself. Here's 2 sets of leaves pointing to the outside, okay? Everywhere else, there's just one on the outside, and then it has the pine branches. Okay, so what you want to do is find that part of the stamp and have it be near the top. All right, and then you're going to, I'm probably going to have to stand up, and you're probably going to get to see my sparkles. But you're going to want to look through and try and keep those two up near the top, okay? And then kind of look through and see if you can wiggle that a little bit so that your the berries are peeking through in places where there aren't leaves, all right? So let me grab my Just Jade pad, and actually, let me give this a quick little rub and see if this helps in the chamois. All right, I'm going to stand up. Oh, hey, look how many of you are here. I'm so happy. I don't notice until I stand up and see the little number up there. All right, so let's give this a try. Okay, so we're going to ink that up. Ooh, that is a little wiggly when I do that, isn't it? All right, now I'm going to look through. It's really hard because the tablet is right where I want to be. It's like when I look straight down, I am seeing tablet, not... Okay, so I tilted it a little bit, and you can see right over here, there's a set of leaves, and that goes right near that notch, okay? And now I can just wiggle that ever so slightly and come around most of the little holly berries. I'm just going to give that just a second to transfer that ink. Okay, so see how nice that looks, and you're not stamping over the top of the berries. All right, so kind of pay attention a little bit. I know usually I say, oh, it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I will tell you that it looks a little funky if you, and I'm not going to wreck a wreath just to show you, but it does look a little funky if you don't do that. All right, where's that envelope piece? I'm going to just stamp a couple more wreaths because I may end up, for some of my other cards, not necessarily ones I'm going to do with you tonight, although we could. I brought my cherry cobbler. I have to just check and see what we're using tonight. Oh yeah, we do need a wreath, actually. Oh, but it needs to be on a different piece of paper. Well, while I'm stamping wreaths... Oh, Leslie Dawn, did you not give yourself a white? Ooh. All right, good thing my white scraps are right here. Because you guys got a piece that I don't have right now. All right, here's a piece that I can cut. Oh, goodness. It's been kind of a busy day. I got to visit with some of my Stampin' friends, and I got a call from a new stamping friend, which is great. And I got to see our newest little stamping friend, William, and he was looking very cute and lovely. It was very good. Well, his mommy and I caught up on some things, which was nice. All right, so we're gonna just, there we go. So on your Night of Navy base that you got, the tall one. So for this card kit right here, you're gonna need this piece. And whoops, and it needs to be not 2 3/4 because that's what this is. It needs to be 2 1/2. Whoops. Oh, you guys are so patient with me. I so appreciate that. All right, so we'll take a little smidge more off of there. Anyway, so a lot of the things that probably should have gotten done this afternoon didn't because I was busy visiting and catching up. And then Richard looked at me later after all of that visiting and catching up, and he said, "You look really good today, less stressed." So apparently that was a good thing because I had kind of a tough weekend. All right, there we go. So let's stamp a a wreath on there, and then we'll get out cherry cobbler for the dots. So this is just my bigger Just Jade. So the color in the kit is Just Jade. It's a really nice green. I really like it. It's one of our new, well, still pretty new, this year's in colors. Okay. There. All right. So we'll take care of that later. All right. Now that's all set. All right. Now we'll bring this that we started with back out, and we have our wreath. All right. And we have our twine. All right. If you're going to do Rachel's idea, you may want to go easy on your twine. Now, I want to just show you something for those of you who might be new to Paper Pumpkin or who are thinking about subscribing. I noticed there's a couple of folk up there that are a little bit new to some of this. So inside, so this is what comes, so your instructions, and this one has instructions in all kinds of languages, okay? So if you happen to prefer German or French or Japanese, you could read the directions in those, but they have picture directions to show you. And if you need to measure something, they really want this experience to be very portable and easy to take with you. So they really do make it so that truly all you need to add is a pair of scissors, okay? Because they even give you a acrylic block in your first kit when you subscribe, okay? So if you are at all interested, there is one more Christmas themed kit for November, and you have through the 10th to sign up. So if you need to do that, let me know. All right, so they put a ruler right in here. They tell you to use 18 inches of twine to do them as they're shown in, because they have you wrapping it around layers and stuff. I think if you want to do it smaller, I think Rachel had you cutting it into 6-inch pieces. I'm going to go a little longer than that because I'm not going to necessarily try to stretch this to 40 cards, and I don't know what I just threw on the ground. Something. Oh, one of those acrylic blocks that I was showing you. Okay. So I gave myself a little bit extra because I'm going to do a double bow. All right. Now, I've shown a lot of you. Some people do the wrap it around and all of that. I can't tie a bow like that on camera, especially. And I find that this kind of a bow gets less twisty, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, let me just talk you through that, because I just was saying other stuff before I did that. So let me try again. All right. So you fold your twine in half, okay? And this is basically if you've ever taught a kid the 2 bunny ears trick, that's all you're doing. You're just skipping the first part. So you make your 2 loops, cross them. Well, you try not to let them fall apart on you. See, this is why doing it on camera is really hard. I don't like to tie bows. All right, so then you just flip one loop over the other, and then you can wiggle it around. The only thing you have to be careful of is remembering that this isn't one of the loops over here. This is the other tails, okay? And you can separate them a little bit. There they go. Okay. And that way you can get your bows, your loops looking good. Right. And then fuss with it a little bit if you want. Bring these down. Okay. And then you can just trim those a little bit. I want them hanging a little bit long for this one off the the wreath, but I don't want it too long. There are adhesive dots in your glue dots in your kit. Again, I'm going to choose to use these ones here because I find it just a little easier to fold these ones. And then I just stick that right to it, right, and take it off. And now the glue dot is on the back of my bow, which I'm getting ahead of myself, and so I'm going to sit over there, and then we're going to put this back together. All right, I am also going to choose to add I'm going to add the wreath with dimensionals. There we go. And you usually get these in your kit too. Right? All right. Let's get those off there. Okay. And we'll put our there. And we'll put our little bow over here. And I think I can get, ooh, I can't get Merry Christmas there because I didn't move this over far enough. That's why it's really important for you to do that. Pay attention. Let's see. I bet I can do, I know what I can do. Hang on. I'm going to grab our joy off here. Oh, Leslie. All right. I didn't know I was going to want this again. All right. All right. Let's put this up here, actually. Sometimes I use the, let's get the directions out of here. That's probably looking kind of messy on the screen. I often use the lines on the grid paper. Okay. And, or I put it where I think I want it so that I can pick up those two stamps together, but probably not with that size block. Probably need this one. There we go. And since we have a lot of cherry cobbler and the Just Jade, I think I'm going to go with cherry cobbler, which is why I cleaned off the joy so it wouldn't be Night of Navy. So I'll just ink that up, and I had it come right over close to the wreath and down here in the corner. There you go. All right. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so I told you the tip. I showed you how to deal with the wreath. The notch to the left, 2 groups of leaves to the top, okay, and then wiggle till you can see your berries. We've talked about the size, so then the next thing is we're going to use this now. Does that other piece give me one, 3/4. I think I'm gonna have to sneak another envelope. Oh wait, no, I have that other piece. Hang on. What I do with it? Here it is. Okay, so let's see if we can get some pieces that are 1 3/4. 1 3/4. We get all the sticky off. Yep. Okay. All right, so these little squares that we're cutting off of this are going to be 1 3/4 inches square. Okay. And we're going to have a couple, we're going to need 4 of them. So you should be able to get a couple out of here. And those, don't worry about those because the wreath is going to cover those little marks. Don't worry about that. All right, and then let's do 1 3/4 here. And I'll leave a long skinny strip in case I want it for something else. Okay, so now I still have this piece I can use for something else. And then we'll just do 1 3/4 this way. That's 3, and 1 3/4 this way. Okay. There. Now, throw that there. Okay. 1 2 3 4. Good. Now, I didn't score these. Sorry. You could score it, or like I've said before, as long as it's not thick Whisper White or thick Berry Vanilla, it usually folds okay if you do it this way. So I would line it up on your table, hold firm on those corners, take your bone folder or whatever you're using to fold to go up to the middle and then out to each side. Okay, and then you're not as likely to get those crinkles at the top. All right, so then we're going to add our 4 pieces here. Okay, then this is going to go in the middle with your wreath. Okay, and we're going to add a few little cherry cobbler dots. So that's where, if you've been a subscriber for a long time, you might have cherry cobbler ink. Or if you don't, take a red pen. It's okay. Nobody's going to know. It'll be fine. All right, I just have to find my stamp set because I keep piling things up here. And, oh, here it is. Do you guys ever wish that I could hear you so you could say to me, it's right over there, Leslie? Yeah, just so you know, I want to be able to hear you say those things because sometimes I sit around and looking like, where'd it go? All right, so let's add a few little cherry cobbler berries. All right, and you can decide where they kind of feel like they would look best. Okay. Might be able to get a couple. That might feel too crowded. Let's do those on the inside. Since I couldn't get any outside, we'll do inside there. Okay. And how about over here? Let's do 2 in close like that. Then let's do these like that. Do a couple more up here. And maybe kind of crowded on the outside, so I think these berries are going right there. All right. And again, if you don't love it, it's okay. Sometimes less is more. Just saying. All right, so that is going to go on here. All right. There. And I would kind of get these 4 squares kind of organized and then take off one at a time and start putting them back where you think you want them. Okay, and if you just kind of set them in place and don't press hard, the likelihood is good that you have a little bit of time to move them around. Okay, if you push hard, then probably not so much. Okay, see, I can go back and lift that if I want to. If I'm careful, I can lift it, okay, because I didn't push really hard. All right. All right, so let's finish those. Okay. There's that. Okay, and so once you're pretty sure that you're okay with that, I think they're not exactly perfect, but you know what? It's a homemade card. And you guys know what I say. If anybody ever complains about your homemade cards, they never get another one. Just saying. Shouldn't. Okay, so we're going to put that up on dimensionals. Now you'll see, again, for those of you who are a little new to me maybe, this is not trash. This is more adhesive, okay? So just because the hexagons are gone does not mean you have used that up. Just saying. There's lots more good stuff left after your little hexagons are used up. All right, so there. Okay. Now a little smudge, so I'm going to turn that sort of down. And get that right there in the middle. All right. So you're saying, but that looks kind of empty, Leslie. Yes, it does, because we haven't finished. Now we're going to take some of these words, and I'm going to take this one out, and I have no idea what it actually, I mean, I don't know how you say that. It's German. I do know that much. I can tell that it's German. Okay. We're also going to take this one, which might also be German, the harmony, spelled with an I-E. All right, because that's where we're going to get the N and the I-E. Okay. You just want to be kind of gentle pulling these out of here. Right. Oh, I'm stuck over here. There we go. Oh, I think I got it. There. Okay. So we need a couple of things. So we need the FR, right? So we're going to just snip because we want this the loop up. all right? So we can pretend that it's attaching to something else, all right? But don't get rid of that because we need the couple more letters here. We need the IE, all right? So we're gonna snip this down here. Look. And you can kind of pretend like it is supposed to be there. And here's the N. Okay. And we can take that off of there actually. And just put that like that. Right, and then we're going to take off the E. Well, would you look at that? It was almost like it was meant to say friend. Okay, so just because you don't happen to speak German, or you don't know anybody that you happen to want to send a card that uses German in, that's fine. You can also take these little curly edges, and let me grab a different wreath and I'll show you. All right, once you get it stamped, okay, you can put these along the edge, and look how pretty that would look. And you can kind of stretch them a little bit, okay, and you can just add a little adhesive under there, and now you've got a pretty little gold edge, just a little ribbon on the edge of your wreath, okay, and that could be at the bottom, it could be to the side, wherever. So you just add your adhesive to the back and put those on there. All right, so don't just go, oh, I don't need these words because I don't know anybody that speaks that language. There's lots of fun things you can do with them, all right? So don't toss them. You're going to want them, I promise. So let me grab a sponge. And I had some right over here. I think there's one in the bathroom that's already all gooey, but that's okay. All right. So, and we'll grab this. Now, this part you want to be a little bit careful about, okay? Because you want to try not to get glue on the front of your pretty words, okay? And I will go back through and get that little dot for the I in just a second, or I'll use a gold gem. But anyway, there's a trick to adding glue to these tiny little pieces. So what you want to do is have your silicone mat. I'm telling you, best $6 you're ever going to spend. Okay, just order one. If you don't already have one or two or three, if you're me, okay, just saying, you're going to want one. So you take a little of our Tombow Mono liquid glue and put it over there, and then you're going to take your little pieces, all right, and you're just going to get a little bit of glue on the back of there, and you're just going to pounce that a little bit, all right, and tack that down. And then I'm going to grab, whoops, my IE, but I want it backwards, and we got some glue on there, all right, and we're going to put that here. Okay, there we go. And we're going to get our N. Should have brought my good tweezers from the studio. I have a really good pair of tweezers at the studio that you press to open, but then when you release them, they close and hang on to whatever you've got on there. All right. There we go. And our last letter, our D. Okay, so we're just going to get a little of that glue. So you're just taking the sponge and just getting a little bit. It doesn't take a lot. These aren't big and heavy and hard to adhere. They're just a little finicky. Okay. There. So now you could add a little banner. I didn't give you guys that. All right. But you could take a little strip of white or one of the banners from the kit. Actually, let me grab one of those and see what I can do, because I'm going to just put like a Happy Christmas or a little skinny banner this way. But let me grab that dot here before I forget. This ought to be fun to try and glue in there. Okay. Yeah, this ought to be fun. Okay, so. All right, so there it is, right there in the glue. Oh, and it's got a little bit of, oh, that's all right. I think I can get it off. Oops, got the whole thing. There's a tiny piece of white attached there that I want off. There, now I got it. All right, now we're going to try again getting it kind of gluey. Probably getting glue all over the gold side, as like I told you not to do. That's okay. There. Okay. So then, let's see here. Here they are. Okay, so we have these little ones. Let's just see. And you know what I have out from something else I was working on is Itty Bitty Christmas. I thought I had it right there. What did I do with it? I was using it yesterday for my plaid class. And maybe it was one of the things that fell. Oh, there it is. It fell. There was a little bit of an avalanche. Okay, so I would like to try this Happy Christmas right here. Unless it's already on a block. Because I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Never mind. Now, I could use one of the greetings in there, like to you and yours or something. But, you know, this is one of my favorite sets. I really love this. And we're just going to use a little Night of Navy and do Happy Christmas. All right. Let's see. Oh, I know what else we have one. I think we have one more. This one took a little longer than I thought. All right. Now, it's got stitching and stuff, so you I think I'm going to just, let's see if this is navy. Nope, Blackberry Bliss. Maybe you're navy. Oh, that's probably navy. I know. There we go. All right, so let's just do a tiny bit around the edge of this because I think it'll set it off, and it will also disguise that the white cardstock that comes in the kit is a little bit different. It's like a brighter white than our Whisper White. So we'll just sponge a little heavy, and that will disguise that a little bit. It will be less noticeable. Okay. All right, so let's throw some dimensionals on there. Okay, this is another one where you guys are probably going, they're right there in front of you, Leslie. All right, well, we've got at least some edge here. I don't know where those went. Okay. Oh, there they are. I see them over in the corner. Okay. But you see, these were actually the mini dimensionals, and I used up all of those too. So, there. Happy Christmas. Oh, you know what? I could go this way now. Got a better idea. Hang on. We're going to take that off. Stick it back over there. Then we're going to put some adhesive here. There we go. Then, see my smudgy? Not anymore, you don't. There. Ta-da! Happy Christmas, friend. Okay. Now, I didn't give you guys a white for the inside, but you could use whatever. All right. Okay. So, I think we're at 3. Have we done 3? We have done 3. 1, 2, 3. So we have one more. Okay. The next one is just trying to find it. There's the picture. Okay, so the next one, you may want crumb cake ink, or you could do it tone on tone, or you could do it in cherry cobbler. I think I'm going to end up actually doing it in cherry cobbler and being okay with that. Okay. All right, so you're going to want one of your flowers. You're going to want the big Merry Christmas. All right. And you're going to want your little flowers here. And I do sometimes tell you guys to put your pick your greetings up diagonally on your block so that you don't end up using the edge of the block to make sure you're straight. You actually check your words. All right. All right. So we're going to take you over there. Here's another one. I didn't do all the scoring for you. Life kind of got in the way. And so we're going to go up the center and out to the sides. Okay. And then you don't get those crinkles. Okay. If you try to smack right from one edge and pull to the side, it's going to crinkle. All right. So here's how these go. This piece, so your 2 pieces of cherry cobbler are not the same size. So pay attention to that. Okay. One is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4, and it's going down here. Now, if you'd rather, you could narrow it in, but anyway, then this piece is going to go here. Right? Like that. Now, I'm looking at this going, that might be a little tall. All right, and I might have to shave a tiny bit off of one corner, but that's all right. So if you feel like that covers too much of your cardstock, trim it down a little. Take it down to 2.5 or 2 1/4 if you want. I'm going to end up just leaving it as is because I don't want to take any more time. All right, I am going to, do I have Versamark here? Not right out. Okay. Oh, I guess I got to stand up. I thought I could just reach back behind me. But no. All right, so I'm going to get crumb cake ink, which is going to match this. And I'm just going to do the flowers in crumb cake ink. Okay. And I'm just going to kind of randomly stamp them around. Okay. And you can kind of turn them and get them as close or as far apart as you want. And you can have some hanging off of there if you want. Okay. Then you want to periodically check and see, okay, I don't need too many more. Okay, I've got a couple of spaces here that I want to fill. But you don't have to fill the whole thing because you're going to cover it up. And that's just a waste of time and energy and ink and everything. All right, so we'll do one there and one here. Okay, and that should get us, yep, I might stick a leaf just a little bit on this corner, like that. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so we can shut crumb cake. And we can put this on. And I'll go most of the way to the edge on that one. All right. And then I'm going to just line it up at one corner, one side. Like that. And then you'll see sometimes, for whatever reason, well, you've probably found that when you cut something in half at 4 1/4 or something, one is exactly 4 1/4 and the other is just a shave off. So you just want to trim that up here. Like that. Okay. There. Small loose. Okay. So then we're going to have our Merry Christmas in Cherry Cobbler. Now you can, actually, let me just do a little bit more here. And we're just going to take our dots and just add a few just for color and interest. Okay. You don't have to do too many because a lot of this is going to be covered. Okay, in fact, those are going to be covered. So I may want to come out a little bit and I may want to come up here. All right, so I'm going to come out here because that one's going to be covered, and I'm going to come up here. And then I think that's going to look good. So just a little bit of color. Okay, then on here, we're going to do our Merry Christmas. Like that. Then we're going to add our beautiful die cut. And I'm thinking we want that up on dimensionals. See, we got all these little chunks that you can use. Yeah. Just because they're not hexagons doesn't mean anything. Okay. So we'll go over there. We'll go over here. We'll go down this way. We'll head over there. And then we'll throw one in the middle just because we can. All right. So I know this is taking a little longer. Most of my lives are not this long. we're gonna, I was toying with a bow. And you know what I think I'm gonna do? Because I have plenty of this, I don't usually do this. I don't usually wrap all the way around. And I certainly don't usually wrap more than once. But I'm going to anyway. Alright, then we're going to come over here. Whoops, get under there, you. Now this is a big challenge for me because I have to tie a regular bow. Oh boy. Can my fat fingers do it tonight? We shall see. Maybe. Whoops. Oh, I think I got it. Whew. Well, that was a trick and a half, huh? I hope I get some applause or something for that, you guys. You know, I'm just saying. that was pretty good. All right. There. All right. Get out of the way. Try to put everything back in the box. So now let's get our layers done here. See, in that one that wasn't perfect, it doesn't even matter because it's going to get covered up. Now, if you have the Stampin' Gut and Emboss machine, you could emboss this layer if you wanted, or this layer. Doesn't make any difference. You could even use envelope paper. This pretty printed one, you could use that there too, if you want. But just saying, you could. There. Okay. So there you are. Okay. So let's get some of these things out of the way and let's bring in our cards. So we did 4 tonight, which is pretty good. Pretty good, I think. Whoops, let's have it go sideways. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I hope you guys liked those. Give me a little thumbs up or something if you liked those. All right. It's nice to see so many of you. And I will put stills. I'll take pictures of these and put the stills in the comments. And try and get the measurements in with them. We'll see how that goes tonight. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.